Hi, Kimberly. I appreciated your discussion board post, and so I wanted to go ahead and comment on what you had said, with temptation. I picked out some of the same ideas and principles that you did, but some of mine were a little bit different, which I really liked about your post. So I did also, mention obviously that as Christian counselors, spiritual based, utilizing scriptures is going to be a big way of supporting our clients through these temptations. And you highlighted a lot of, or a couple different scriptures throughout your post that I found to be extremely relevant and helpful, ones that I didn't necessarily think of on my own. And I really liked that you had put that you would utilize this basis of temptation to then implement techniques to help the client to overcome this very common symptom of addiction. So I really liked that. I really enjoyed that you put that you gratitude as important, because finding gratitude leads to positivity and less stress and more appreciation of kind of what you have, which is going to be helpful in these situations. One thing that I implement frequently within my own practice is having people to put, at the end of the day, to put 3 things that they are grateful for, because I want them to reflect on their day. And although they may have seen it as this bad day, there is usually some good within it. And so I want people to also, find that gratitude, to find that positivity in life. And that is something, amazing to help with people who struggle with addiction as well. I also put in there, that the helping the client to establish some type of community, like the 12-step program. A mentor or a sponsor is going to be big, for these people. So because temptation can become really strong and, lead to relapse. So I think, that's something that I also addressed as well. For me, I utilize more taking the basis of the kind of like what you said, taking the basis of their spirituality and then utilizing that to then implement kind of more everyday stuff. Because you can't just in my opinion, you can't just rely on prayer or scripture or reminding yourself that I've given myself to this higher power to overcome some of these temptations. Sometimes we need a little bit extra. And while that is a great foundation, we can then build off of that to find you further coping skills. So I talked about creating a support plan of something, identifying 3 environments that you would like to stray away from, or people, places, things, that you should stray away from, so you don't, engage or have that feeling of temptation. People that you can rely on outside of maybe a sponsor, or somebody that could provide distraction for you, different things along those lines, and how to keep yourself safe. Not necessarily like a safety plan for someone who's suicidal, but more of a support plan so that they have this kind of visual reminder for themselves. Because a lot of times our brains, get to this place of, hey, this is overwhelming, I can't seem to focus, logical decisions aren't going to be very helpful right now. So having that visual reminder of what they can do for me was a really big thing, and they could put on their prayer, or they could identify various scriptures to repeat to themselves to help them get into that place, or even identifying, some sort of pastor, priest, or chaplain's number so that they could, rely on that person in a time of need as well. So I really appreciated your post and where you had came from as well, because it sounded like you had a lot of the same thoughts that I did, that accessing their spirituality to help them overcome the temptation, to having the spirituality basis to then implement these techniques, and us coming in, reinforcing that, remaining positive, relying on that positivity and gratitude is definitely something that I appreciate. So thank you again for your post.